For mystery and crime, Sherlock and Criminal Minds. Sherlock, a BBC TV series, follows Sherlock Holmes and John Watson in a modernized version of Arthur Conan Doyle's book series. It's done really well, and the actors are so good in it. The story is told so well. The writing is just crazy. Criminal Minds. So this focuses on a division of the FBI who are profilers. They solve these cases usually by profiling the suspect and what type of victim they would go after, what their behavior type is, and just going based off of that, predicting what move they're going to make next. And it's really interesting. It also follows the team and their kind of relationship and dynamic. Sci-fi, fantasy, and everything to do with the supernatural. This is probably my favorite genre. Most of the shows I fall in love with come from this genre. So there's a long list. So I'm going to be very, very brief. The shows that I love that come out of this are Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Doctor Who, Merlin, Supernatural, Charmed, Terminator the Sarah Connor Chronicles, and The Secret Circle, which I just started watching. Buffy the Vampire Slayer, if you don't know, how could you not? It's a cult classic. Buffy, like the one vampire slayer of her generation, sets out to rid the world of these horrible vampires and other different kinds of mythical creatures. And it just shows her struggle, her relationships with her friends, and just dealing with being a teenager and college student. It's all very dramatic, all very interesting. Of course, who doesn't love Buffy? Even if I can't explain it well. Doctor Who. Of course I'm gonna say this. A BBC television series that started in the 60s, ended in the 80s, rebooted in 2005. It follows the Doctor, who is a Time Lord from the planet Gallifrey, and he travels through time and space in the TARDIS, the blue police box that everybody can recognize. And of course he has his human companion, who he goes on different adventures and helps save different alien races and planets, and it's just a really, really great sci-fi classic. Rebooted. I haven't really seen any of the classic Who, which I have to work on, but the reboot is just really well done and very interesting. So if you haven't seen that, go watch it. I hope I convince you to see it. If anything, watch Doctor Who. It also just gets into the human condition, human emotions, and philosophical discussions as well, even though sometimes it's not very logical. Okay, usually, even though you can't apply logic to Who at all, you can have discussions. Next is Merlin. This is also a BBC TV series, which has just ended unfortunately in its 5th season. It follows Merlin's perspective in the King Arthur story. Now, if you remember, Merlin is the sorcerer, or wizard. So it's Merlin's side of the story before Arthur is even king. He's just a prince right now. Merlin starts off as his servant, actually, and magic has been banned in Camelot, where it's set. It's basically Merlin helping Arthur in any way he can to make the right decisions to become king, to help him in his struggles and problems. It's basically that. Supernatural is one of my favorite shows. It basically follows these two brothers, Dean and Sam Winchester, as they fight off demons and ghosts and everything you could possibly think of that is supernatural. There's a lot of dying going on here. And it is basically the relationship between these two brothers, and the reason they got started is because of the death of their mother, and it's them trying to figure out what it was that killed her, and them finally hunting all of their kind once they find out what it is. And it just escalates and escalates. Charmed. Now, it follows these 3 sisters, Prue, Phoebe, and Piper, and eventually Paige, as the story goes on, as they fight off demons again, like Supernatural. I tend to think of Charmed and Supernatural as kind of similar. One is just about sisters, the other is about brothers. One of them is a little bit edgier and can get a little darker, while Charmed just kind of is doesn't get too dark. That's mostly about these three sisters, these three witches, and their whole dynamic and relationship between each other, and how they deal with having normal lives along with having these powers and being able to do spells and everything. Reality TV. Now, I must admit I'm not a big fan of this, but there are a few shows that are really, really compelling and good, and I can get into. First is The Voice. It's a singing competition with celebrity judges who also become mentors. So they each pick their team, and the whole thing starts with blind auditions. So the judges don't see them, they only hear them sing, and they have to decide whether they want them on their team or not. And if more than one does, then the singer gets to choose. And then it's a whole competition on who is the voice. So it really focuses on the music, on who has a really great voice and who can command the stage. The Buried Life. This is an MTV series about a group of boys who made this wish list of things they want to do before they die. I guess it's kind of like a bucket list. So it's them going across the country on a tour bus, fulfilling things on the list. But they also help somebody else achieve one of their dreams. So it's them fulfilling their dreams and then them helping somebody else fulfill theirs. Sometimes it doesn't always work out, but that's okay. They always at least try to and always find some sort of way. And those are some of my favorite television shows and the things I like to watch. As you noticed, I didn't add in a romance one because all of these shows have a little romance in them, so you can all get a bit of that in almost every television show. There's usually a love story somewhere. So I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope you check out some of these shows. Most of them are on Netflix. Some of them are not. But there's also the WB.com where you can find Veronica Mars. I think Veronica Mars might be on Netflix too. But if you don't have Netflix, then you can stream it on the WB.com website. If you have any other suggestions for shows that I haven't mentioned, leave them down. And if I haven't seen them already, I'll probably check them out. See ya!